right, hello and welcome. Thank you everyone for just holding tight for a second there as we got things set up. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday, November the 11th. If only it was 2011, it would be 11/11/11. Though to be fair, I don't think that November the 11th in 2011 landed on a Tuesday.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's possible, but I doubt it. And yeah, also happy
I do not
Veterans
know.
Day, everyone.
Happy Veterans Day. I am checking. November the 11th, 2011 was a Friday.
Yeah, okay. I thought it's one of those things where you think logically the odds for a date being on any given day should be 1 in 7, right? But it doesn't. I don't think it actually works out that way. I think there's actually a very standard variation to the months. Repeats like every 8 years.
Something, although I would think over the long haul it would average out. I
I have to look this up now. Me and my brain. I'm gonna have to like write a Python program or something that just looks at the spread of dates on days and groups them into categories.
Although you could be right about that. Omni says carry the leap year minus the square root of pi. And pi, he spells P-I-E. So,
of course.
I just want to know what kind of pie, Omni. Apple, pumpkin, chocolate, strawberry, banana.
Does a meringue count as a pie?
Sure.
I mean, what is the functional definition of pies? This is not what I thought we'd be talking about as we started, but what is the functional definition of a pie? Is it can pies have a top? Do pies have to have a top crust? Can they only have a bottom crust? Once you get the top crust on, is it something other than a pie?
I think they're all pie. I mean, yeah. Even a pizza's a pie. Pizza pie.
So I guess the difference between a pie and a cake would be a pie has filling?
Maybe.
If only there was some sort of device that had all these just these details at our fingertips. What is the definition of a pie versus a cake? The top question.
Positive says pie squared is not good to eat, only circle pie.
Okay, pies, baked dish with a pastry crust filled with sweet or savory ingredients, while a cake is a sweet baked food made from different things. So the difference is the ingredients and structures, with pies having a crust, whereas cakes being more bread-like. Okay, I'll accept that final difference. Pies have crusts.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Because everything before then was just kind of beating around the bush. A pie has a crust. A cake is more bread-like. So I guess by that definition, you don't have to have the top or bottom crust. You just have to have one or the other. Makes
sense, I guess. Omni wants to know what's the difference between a muffin and a cupcake.
Oh no. Is there a difference? Yeah, now I want pie.
Anna's there. She says she wants pie.
A
Love you,
muffin
sweetie.
And a cupcake. Important questions being answered here. Okay, muffins are denser and less sweet, whereas cupcakes are lighter and sweeter. So, now we're getting to that difference between like a vegetable and a fruit. And you got that tomato category where it's like, functionally, we're looking at the same sort of thing here, but now we're talking about density and sweetness. Wow. Yeah, fast and then zip. Exactly, Omni. I never...
These questions are right up there with, who are you? What do you want?
Never ask that question, Jeff.
I'll have to remember that.
Okay, no, actually on sci-fi related things, I know that you are a huge a fan of Lower Decks. That it creates
TNG episode?
No. The cartoon, it creates such deep emotions within you whenever we talk about it.
I could care less.
That's the definition of being a fan, right? Deep emotions.
I don't even think about it anymore. It's just something that exists.
The series did end, so I don't blame you for not thinking about it. I've recently been playing a video game of Lower Decks. It's an Android app.
Really?
Yeah, and it's neat enough. It's one of those 100% data mining sort of games where the real purpose of it is to get you to use your real money to buy useless things in the game.
As opposed to fake money?
Well, yeah. Well, because, games can have in-game currency, but no, they want you to, it's one of those things where like, hey, you could buy, 1,000 dilithium crystals for only $15. Or you just have to do the grind. Or
I hate those kinds of games.
Oh yeah. Or they
spend
make
more
you
money. Make it easier.
Do advertisements. So if you watch the ad, you can slowly build up stuff. So yeah, Tom, it's like every other game on phone right now.
Yeah, that's why I usually don't play those kinds of games.
But it's one of those nice kind of idle games. You have a minute, you pull it up, you click a few things, you close it, no big loss. It's been enjoyable. They did a Prime Directive. They do little mini-sodes where you do a certain number of tasks, you go into the next episode. They did one about the Prime Directive in which they basically mashed together every Prime Directive episode ever. They did Pen Pals. They did the Enterprise episode where you had the one civilization that was like at a genetic dead end. And
technically,
Archer?
though, that wasn't a Prime Directive episode because the Prime Directive didn't exist yet.
True. It was a proto Prime. He said the words Prime Directive in there. I'm pretty sure. He said, someday there'll be some guiding force, some Prime Directive. But for now, this is what we're going to do. I don't know. Like I said, Enterprise is the one I've seen the least, but I remember the episode. They did the episode of TNG with the two races who were kind of bickering with each other, and they decided to not let either one in, except that was less Prime Directory. But the point is, they took every instance of the Prime Directive, and they showed that they lacked the ability to think about the nuanced nature of the Prime Directive. So where Boimler, he's like, hey, we need to Prime Directory.
That's what I was reacting to.
Or Boimler is like, for the race that was going to die out, but we have the ability to cure them. Well, let's not do anything because maybe their genes aren't worth being preserved. And they're like, wow, that's eugenics. You're a brown shirt. And like, that's how they handle all of it, where every decision that was ever made throughout Trek was, you're being, biased, racist, xenophobic, like all this stuff.
Well, the show tended to reference pretty much everything Trek.
They did a little better with most of the Trek stuff. But with this one, the writers of the game clearly were given just the briefest kind of, here's how the characters are kind of supposed to work, and go do stuff with it. And they definitely have not seen anything Star Trek.
The chat is stating lies about me.
Are they lies?
Yes.
The one with Worf's brother, no, so they didn't touch on that one, I don't think. Though the one with Worf's brother was kind of like Pen Pals, except taken to the extreme.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I've always thought the thing with pen pals was really weird, where they're like, hey, we have the ability to divert an asteroid, but it would be a violation of the Prime Directive to divert this asteroid because it'd be interfering with the natural development of the species. When it's like, well, no, it's just preventing their extinction.
I was surprised Data even was listening and interacting with Sarjenka, the little girl.
At that point in his development, that's true. He was not there. He was very much the robot at that point.
Yeah, he should have known better.
Yeah, positive. I mean, Picard, and they talked about this, that, everyone broke the Prime Directive. Picard did, Kirk did. They talked about how Picard drove a dune buggy across a pre-warp civilization's planet. Which technically, seeing as how he was chased by dune buggies, that wasn't really violating the Prime Directive. Now, I mean, the part where the shuttle came down and they drove into it, okay, yeah, that may have been a little breaking the Prime Directive. Maybe a bit. But the point is, like, they just didn't know how to deal with the nature of the Prime Directive. And so they took such a very unflattering look at every episode. And it was weird. The rest of it's been fine. It's been enjoyable. There's been a couple times it made me chuckle. But that one was
just like the real show.
Exactly.
Just a couple times you chuckle.
Exactly. And,
at least for me.
And I'll also say this. One thing I've been noticing about the game is that it's very much season 1 and 2 Mariner and Boimler, where Mariner was just this perfect person, and even though she's like 20, she's done Black Ops, she's done stuff with Section 31, she's better than everything. Riker. Yeah. Whereas by season 4, they were like, hey, she's kind of insufferable, so we're going to actually have her develop some where everything she's been doing up till now, we're going to say that this is actually causing her harm, and she's going to be forced to confront with the fact that she's sabotaging herself because she is so prideful and thinks so highly of herself. And so she got better by the end of it, but yeah. Josh is saying, wasn't the episode of Pen Pal when Data's Pen Pal planet was trying to destroy itself? And
Omni responded.
Was geologically unstable due to dilithium crystals on the ground or something. Oh, I thought it was an asteroid. Okay, never mind.
No, it wasn't an asteroid.
You know me. I get things about I was letting you run with right.
it. Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. There was a different natural disaster that the Enterprise 100% had the ability to correct, but we're like, no, we can't prevent this natural disaster because that interferes with the species development. Which is interesting because then you're not really talking about interfering with the species anymore, but you're actually referring to the planet itself as the species by that definition. That by preventing an asteroid by hitting the Earth, you interfere with the planet's development.
Yeah. But aren't we part of the planet?
Well, that's the thing. That's why this episode didn't make much sense to me. Because it's one thing to be like the crew of the Orville, where they were super excited. We are going to beam down. This is first contact. We're going to raise them up so they don't have to go through the tumultuous period. So it's one thing to be like that, and another thing to be like, until you can get to warp, an asteroid hits you, you're out of luck. Your planet, some volcano erupts, you're out of luck. We're not going to do anything at all. Oh, Omni's saying the one with Worf's brother was an asteroid?
That was not an asteroid either. The atmosphere was going to burn off.
Yeah, Janeway, no. Would Janeway have locked Data in the brig for 30 days? It depends on how cheeky he was that time.
Well, she did it to Paris.
Only once, though.
Only once.
like he did quite a few things that deserved to be locked up, I think. Well, I guess that was the thing. That was the only time he broke the Prime. Did he break the Prime Directive with that one? Because they were a spacefaring civilization at that point.
They were.
Yeah, Omni-7 stole a shuttle. Chakotay stole a shuttle. They didn't end up in the brig. Maybe it was the fact that it was the second time he did it. The first time, he got her knocked up. And this time, she's like, no. I can't let you keep stealing shuttles.
We don't speak of that first one. Except as Emmy Award winning.
Absolutely.
Episode.
Yeah. I don't know. I will admit that depending on the writer, their ability to address the nature of the Prime Directive is hit and miss. Like the Baku, isn't that their name from
Insurrection.
Discovery?
Oh.
The Kelpians. The Kelpians?
Ah, the Kelpians. Okay.
Yeah. Because with the Kelpians,
Baku
you're
are
like,
from Insurrection.
Insurrection, yeah. See, 80% right. I'll get the name wrong.
It's all in there. It's just a little jumbled.
It's the Swiss cheese brain from jumping from life to life.
Oh, okay. You're quantum leaping, are you?
Yeah. That's why Sam Bucket made it into Enterprise. The entire thing was just one long quantum leap.
Some people theorize that. Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, his whole thing was he needs to get the Federation.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Did I say Sam Bucket? I was supposed to say Sam Beckett. I may have put an on the E.
I think you did say Bucket, but...
In my head, I saw the E. Sam Beckett.
Boy, we're off to a great start tonight.
Now Bucket. Oh, gosh. But no, so depending on who is doing the writing, the Prime Directive is very hit and miss. And that is something that I'm lamenting about the Prime Directive. Because in the very first episode of Voyager, I mean, she complains or she comments that interfering with Kess's race, the Okampa, would be against the Prime Directive. But why? I mean, they were an enslaved race by a spacefaring race. I mean, their mere presence doing anything was destabilizing the region if she wanted to go that way, but that's not what the Prime Directive was about. It wasn't about destabilizing other warp-capable civilizations. It was specifically about pre-warp.
I think she was concerned that they were already involved in the events and they had to clean it up.
Yeah. But Tuvok's comment about how the Prime Directive would seem to apply, it always kind of came out of left field for me and didn't really make a lot of sense. Anyway, how about some Babylon 5?
Thomas says the Prime Directive is non-interference in any culture, not just pre-warp.
Is it?
Well, that's, the internal affairs of the Klingon Empire when they were in the Civil War. They didn't want to get involved with that either.
I guess, did it change from its initial conception? I thought their...
Probably.
I thought that their initial commentary was that it was pre-warp. So maybe it expanded by the time of TNG and Voyager.
Text says it seems to depend on the writer. Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. And, I mean, interestingly, in Kurtzman's Trek, and was it The Wrath of Khan, I think, where Kirk...
That was not Kurtzman.
Kurtzman?
It was Kurtzman. No.
The Kelvin.
The
Kelvin timeline.
The Kelvin, okay.
Yeah.
We don't speak about that one either.
But no, so in his second movie, The Wrath of Khan one, the Enterprise stopped a volcano erupting to save a species.
Oh, okay.
Joel, only water. I've only had water to drink today. He tried to lie to Pike about it, but I mean, Pike knew the score. And Thomas, no, I will stick to my guns. Severely damaged. I mean, I haven't put a definition on it, but I think we all know what a ship looks like when it's severely damaged. I think I've likened it to Voyager at the end of the Year of Hell episode. Two-parter. Wow. That is severely damaged.
You mean before Janeway says the line, time's up.
Yeah, before then. Yep.
Okay, because after they ram the ship, the time ship, then everything's restored back to normal. Reset.
In positive candor, nope, it has to be season 5. Season 5 is when the White Star will get severely damaged, according to my prediction.
Robert Rose Jr. says, SciTube not working.
Hopefully, it's not working because I haven't started play it yet. So it should be in there, but until I hit play, all of our sync times will be at 0.
Well, I just refreshed the page, and it is coming up for me. I did have to verify that I'm a human, though.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah, I thought that was new. I hadn't seen that before.
What happens if it's before season 5? The Omni, then I lose the bet, and I'm on the hook for a virtual pub. Dims the brakes. So yeah, if it happens before season 5, or if it doesn't happen at all. And here's the thing, it's not just that the White Star is severely damaged. I swung through the fences. It's severely damaged, and the Techno Mages come and give it an upgrade.
That's right.
So even if I'm half right, that still counts as being all wrong, in which case I still got to do the virtual pub.
Omni says virtual pub. We can watch Quantum Leap with Sam Bucket.
It would be fun. It'd have to be the old Quantum Leap, though. The new Quantum Leap is garbage. Absolute garbage.
Much like Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with the new Quantum Leap, even if you take away all of the woke nonsense, which they really heavily, extremely lean into, the story itself narratively doesn't work, because in the original Quantum Leap, everything happened in the past. With very rare exception, Sam Beckett was who we focused on. And so we were always seeing things develop through his eyes. And so you grew really attached to the characters that he was working with, and you really cared about whether they survived at the end of the episode or not. And the new Quantum Leap series, they split it. And so part of the time you're with Sam, well, whoever the new character name is, and the other time you're with the people in the present, trying to get him back. And as a result, you get to the end of the episode and you're like, I don't care about any of these characters. I don't care about what problems they're going through. I don't care about whether they survive or not. It's all meaningless to me, because I didn't have time to understand their situation. I didn't have time to grow attached to them.
I didn't even watch a single episode of the new Quantum Leap.
It was rough. It was definitely rough. But I love the sorry, I gotta adjust that a little bit. I love the original so much. I actually gave it, well, that was even worse, several seasons.
I was going to say, you went out of focus for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, the camera will autofocus on, there we go, on whatever I got there. So it takes a second, but it'll get back. Didn't the new one say Captain? So yeah, and to be fair, Wizards don't wear pants. The actual original series ended with a commentary saying that Sam Beckett never returned home. That once he learned that he was in control of the leap and he could return at any time he wanted to, he chose to keep it going forever, to constantly be helping people. And I remember I watched a commentary on that once from the show writer, and I don't think that was the ending they had in mind. They had always meant to have this be an impactful big episode, but it being the last episode wasn't something they knew was happening. And so that kind of got tacked on there real quick. And originally, I think they had planned for him to actually make it home, instead of it being such a kind of depressing ending. Yeah, I mean, it was depressing he could never go home, especially because he had a wife.
Right.
Yes, he did eventually learn to leap beyond his own timeline and went to the Star Trek universe and was a great captain. And that's something that the follow-up series kind of picked up on, where they were going to have they're hoping to like get to Sam or something. It was weird. They tried to overdo it, where there's some singularity event that if they weren't able to stop, it caused the collapse of all society. You know, it's just every new sci-fi series seems to be about this, that you can't just enjoy the problem of the episode. There always has to be this huge earth-destroying event going on. It's like, does there? I wonder if that's the millennial doom people talk about, or the Gen Z doom.
Well, I think part of it is the on-demand and thing that's going on with, streaming, and also, people can just watch as many episodes as they want. And Doctor Who is also guilty of this. They always have to have this big story arc going on in the background that every episode kind of ties into a little bit.
It's true. Yeah. And it was neat when they did it with Bad Wolf, where it's like, oh, that was a neat little thing. And it was neat when they did a like a mini series sort of thing. But go on.
There were just little touches in each episode, a reference to Bad Wolf. You don't know what it meant. It wasn't like every episode directly tied in to the plot of the main story arc. Thomas has fallen asleep. Daleks are awesome. Yes, Omni.
They are. Scaring a generation of kids with a toilet plunger and a and a whisk.
But you saw how deadly the plunger could be.
Oh yeah.
Didn't you? Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then they also had kind of a mini thing with the face of Bo.
The face of Bo. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just kind of like sprinkled in there, and
just here or there.
Yeah,
that went over several seasons.
It did.
Yeah.
By the time they got to Amy and Rory, though, I think that really set the stage for like everything now has to be a bigger threat than previous.
Yeah, I agree. Stephen Moffat did that.
It's interesting to hear Chris Chibnall and Stephen Moffat talk. I forget which one. I think it's Chibnall.
You mentioned the miniseries that they had.
I was talking about the face of
the Flux.
The Flux?
Oh, okay. I guess you were not talking about that. Sorry. Series 13 was kind of like a mini series. They had 6 episodes. It was just one big arc. It was in the Whittaker years. Jodie Whittaker.
Yes, that's why I don't know it. I skipped over. Jodie.
Okay, I don't blame you. You. It's not as bad as the latest stuff, but hands down. And to be fair, it was the Jodie stuff that made me appreciate the Bill stuff more. Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Because I was like, oh no, I am not here for Bill. And then they weren't shoving it down your throat the whole time. It was actually a very well done series, and
it was.
I was impressed.
It was.
Nice little ending to David Capaldi's run.
David Capaldi? Peter Capaldi.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Not David Tennant.
Yep.
Not Peter Tennant.
Yeah, David Bucket. I am all over the place tonight, guys. Buckle up. Wow.
Not Peter Davison either, the Fifth Doctor.
Oh goodness, let's get this going. This is Zahha-Doom.
Zahha-Doom.
The place that he must not go to, or he will die.
You go to Zahha-Doom, you will die.
So I had some guesses about this episode. Do you remember what they are?
I do. Okay. I'm just reading some messages I got on Discord. Did you see the meme I posted this afternoon in the San Antonio 9 channel?
The one with
Kosh and Sheridan?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
Kosh
that.
says, if you go to Zahha-Doom, you will die. And Sheridan says, well then, why don't you go? Kosh's response is, I'm sure you'll be fine. Go ahead. I thought that was funny. Yes, predictions. So you said they've been telling Sheridan not to go to Zahha-Doom. If he goes there, he will die. Dolores was begging him in the time travel story not to go there. Sheridan goes to Zahha-Doom anyway. This will be the story of him going there and facing what is there. The big question is why he shouldn't go. We will see quickly the motivation that he must go there. Sheridan will wake up, and because we saw in the last episode that Dolores was watching him. There's a Minbari tradition of watching the person that you're intending to marry for 3 nights, watch it while they're sleeping. And this is one of those nights that she's doing it. And then, of course, Sheridan's dead wife, supposed dead wife, shows up and announces herself in the room. And Sheridan will wake up and Dolores will be gone. Anna, his ex-wife or his dead wife, will have already left the station with her, kidnapping her without waking Sheridan. There will be a message to him from her that he will have to go to Zahha-Doom to save Dolores. He is emotionally fractured with a quasi-marriage proposal dating thing with Dolores, while she is going to watch him sleep for 3 nights. He has finally moved past Anna, but now suddenly finds that she is alive. He will act on pure emotion, but Garibaldi will have to talk him down. That is what Garibaldi does. The real question will be if the episode will end on a cliffhanger. They have, so far in the first 2 seasons, have had these cliffhangers, but this one will also end on a cliffhanger. Garibaldi will sacrifice himself by getting captured in place of Sheridan and be on a prison ship by the end of the episode.
It sounds exciting.
It does.
And I'm very much looking forward to this. Just as a quick recap before we see a single frame, I'm really interested because, one, they've just been telling Sheridan, do not go to Zahha-Doom. If you go, you'll meet your doom. In the future, he sees Dolores and she's like, I never believed you until this moment. I believe you. And he's like, oh no, I'm being pulled back to the past, my present, your past. And she so goes, no matter what, you must remember this. No matter what, do not go to Zahha-Doom. And now we're going to Zahha-Doom. So we are going to see what happens there. Who is Dolores? Why is Dolores? Hey, Robert. So as you've seen today already, I'm super bad at the names. And Dolores is Delin. I just got her name wrong, and once I get it wrong, I got to lean into it to make fun of myself. So we got Strider.
And boy, does he.
Oh, I got so many names to remember. We got Strider.
Strider, yeah.
And we got Dolores, and those were, and Buster.
Buster, yep. Don't forget Buster. Mm-hmm.
And Buster is Bester. Yep.
Cheap Rod Sterling.
Cheap Rod Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
So I never called him
Jerry Baldy.
You've been pushing that, or someone's been pushing Jerry Baldy, but I've always called him Gary Baldy.
Okay.
Or Gary Baldy.
Gary.
Gosh, you're gonna get me. You're gonna get me to
I
say
thought
it wrong, but no.
I thought you called him Jerry Baldy once.
If I ever called him Jerry Baldy, I was reading someone from the chat. I have never mistaken him for Jerry Baldy.
Okay. Gary Baldy.
Yes, Gary Baldy. So we'll see how long it takes me to tongue twist my way into that name. And yeah, I only remember the characters I played. Zathras, of course. So why don't we go ahead and jump on into this? If this is your first time with us, oh my goodness, I hope you like it here. As you've already seen over the past 30, 40 minutes, you don't know where we're going. We will talk about pies and muffins and cakes and nomenclature and taxonomy of cooking terms. And we will talk about sci-fi. We'll talk about the Prime Directive and go super deep and nerdy. And we will go wherever I am distracted to limitably. So I hope you enjoy it. But the way we do this, there is a screening room that you can jump over to with the pin link. And that is active during this stream and this stream only. After this stream, I'm sorry, it's not up anymore. If you came here hoping to watch the episode, you got to bring your own copy. You can watch this right now during this stream only. In the future, you need to have your own source. Sorry. I've never seen this series before. Each week, I'm watching the episode for the very first time. I'm giving my live impressions of it. And I make a prediction for what I think the next episode will be based solely 100% off the name. And I am always 100% right in some dimension somewhere out there. And every once in a while, it's almost this one. Just saying. So
you've come very close a few times.
I have. At least I got some broad strokes there. So, my batting average is about 0.1, 0.2, but it's not 0. So that's the thing.
It's a little higher than that.
Yeah, that's right. Even a broken clock, right? Twice a day. If you're here in the future, I hope you're enjoying this. Sorry if you came expecting something different, but since you will need to provide your own copy of this, there's several ways you can do it. You can go to Tubi TV. You can go to Roku TV. And both of those are free.
Roku channel?
Yeah, Roku channel. And the Tubi TV, you don't even have to make an account. You can just go there. You do have to watch advertisements. It has commercials, so it's just like the olden days. But you can watch it. If you have Amazon Prime, it's on Amazon Prime. But I'll always say this, the number one best way, in my humble opinion, is just go buy the physical media. Amazon very reliably has it for like $70, usually 70 to 80, depending on the week. I'm not sponsored by them. Like I say, I wish I was. I would sell out, but they don't need me. They're Amazon.
Wow. Matthew's going to sell out if he can.
Oh, in a heartbeat. I would be a sellout. I enjoy income.
$66.95 right now for the Blu-ray set. Yeah,
nice. And so I actually say this: if you want the high quality version, the Blu-ray is a way to go. And honestly, most of the streaming you can do right now has the Blu-ray quality. If you're gonna spend money, and you're not in a rush to have the high quality stuff, I actually recommend getting the older versions of the DVD because they have all the director commentary. So if you are a longtime fan of the series, which I am quickly becoming, I do recommend you run out, find an old version of the DVDs, and enjoy what the actors and the directors have to say on that. If all you care about is visual quality and you just want to make sure that you have a copy that can never be taken away from you, get the Blu-ray. $60, not a bad investment.
Not bad at all.
If you're here with us right now, you don't have access to the physical media somewhere, you can't stream on another tab, you can't join us in the screening room, we got you covered. There is a still image that will be displayed in that box right below us updates every 7 to 9 seconds. No audio with this, just an image so that you have a reference, ideally, for what's happening that I'm hopefully talking about. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. I'll give us a quick 3 countdown, and we'll get going. So 3, 2, 1, hit that play button, everyone. And Thomas is saying that apparently you can see the northern lights in Texas right now. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Now,
okay, so
they refilmed this with her because the original actress wasn't available to play Anna.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this last week, that originally the actress was the actress who played Ishara Yar in TNG.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Thanks for subscribing. I hope you're here with us right now. And so they're doing a quick recap, and I do like the fact that they did this. Now, obviously, at the time, it was necessary. You didn't have every episode where you could easily access. Like, I actually had every episode of Voyager on VHS tape. Like the official versions. It took like an entire section of my wall, from wall to wall in my bedroom. But that came out well after the series was done. So to have the entire season where you could just rewatch it, you had to be faithful to record that yourself, or you're out of luck.
Yep.
So this sort of quick recap, very nice. Official as opposed to like me just recording it, like setting a timer on my VCR and recording it and trying to like pause buffer so that I didn't have commercials and stuff.
I did that back in the day.
Yeah. And so we're caught back up. They give a quick recap showing how Anna was on the Icarus, which I kind of wonder, with everything he's done in this series, if the Icarus wasn't deliberately chosen for flying too close to the sun. Yeah, no one uses doorbells when drama takes charge. And so, kind of hard cut to him being awake.
We've seen Sheeprod Sterling break into rooms on the station.
Oh, and she's not kidnapped yet, so one prediction gone.
And he's actually talking to her.
Yeah. And Omni's saying it was a deliberate choice. Okay, yeah. I kind of imagined. He's been very methodical. And so John says, I thought you were dead. And she says, you mean she didn't tell you?
AndAmi's right. This is Bruce Boxleitner's actual wife in real life. At the time, they have divorced, and I think 2011.
And so she's bringing up a point. How can you be sure that this is really me? He is aware of how the Shadow Spider ships were found on the planet where she went to. And he's aware of what they do.
Right. Of course, this is Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie, as well as other things.
I remember you telling me that, yeah. Which one did she play? The main character?
Yeah, Laura.
Wow. I mean, no surprise here. I can't tell. And one of the things... Oh, and so she's saying, all you have to do... I can explain everything I can make it all make sense. All you have to do is come with me. And he says, where? And she says, Zahadum. Where else? The one place he must not go.
Oh, Thomas.
Father. No, I know that's not true. Because I actually, I mentioned this last week. My wife is a fan of Little House on the Prairie. And we were doing some Googling on them and found out there's all sorts of drama on the set. Because speaking of cheating, the guy who did play the father ended up cheating on his wife with one of the production hairstylists, something like that.
Yeah, I heard that before.
And this lady, whatever you said her name was,
Melissa Gilbert.
Melissa.
Yeah,
Melissa.
she played Laura.
She viewed him as like a father figure. And so, like there was a long time where she would not talk to him outside of whenever she had to in the script. Allegedly. Yeah, now it's Michelle. Thank you, Joel. Thank you.
Yeah, Omni said, Michelle's close enough. Michelle Gilbert.
Yeah. Zahadum. For a second, I thought it said Jeff Combs. I'm like, he got into here also? But no, it's some other Jeff, Corey or something.
Jeffrey Combs did play on Babylon 5 in season 1.
He did?
Yeah.
I forgot.
He was a psychop.
100% forgot. He's in everything.
He is in everything. Are you surprised, Thomas? Really?
And the missiles, do you think those were the same props that we saw the Psi-Corps people in previously? Or is it just, hey, here's some missiles?
I never made the connection before.
And I do like that we see Franklin is still limping, that he hasn't just immediately healed. It's only been 3 days, maybe, since he came back. Torpedoes. And one of the things I was speculating about last week is the people who were captured by the shadow spiders. How much are they still themselves? Have they become collaborators with them? Were they killed? Are they being like puppet controlled? Is it just their corpses have been reanimated? We saw that they're doing some cyborg circuitry stuff with the Psi-Corps people, or not, or telepaths. I don't know if they're technically Psi-Corps. They were telepaths though. So I wonder how much is she herself.
Omni pointed out that, yes, Jeffrey Combs did not play a Psi-Cop. He was just played a Psi-Corps member. And Positive pointed out that Adam Nimoy directed this episode.
Oh, I'm assuming that's Leonard's son?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. And so Sheridan is understandably upset. He's saying, you told me she was dead. How could you be so wrong? Is this really her? And Dolores is saying, I don't know. And
she says that they assumed she was dead.
Yeah. And Sheridan is saying, well, Anna would never work for those things. There's no way she could be a collaborator. Thomas, no. Adam is his daughter. And so she just dropped a big bomb there, truth bomb, that if he knew there was any possibility that she was still alive on Zahadum, he would have gone after her. And Hudal is saying that Adam's camera turns are his tell. I'll have to look for that.
That's interesting, Hudal. Never heard that before.
And so Sheridan is just confessing the difficulties that come from, a widower, widowee, and a widower moving forward to open your heart again to someone new. And kind of, even though you know that your first spouse is gone, the feeling of guilt that you have for loving someone else. And so Dolores is saying,
know that?
Yeah. She was saying that Zahadum is a homeworld of the shadows and that no one leaves there unchanged. And he says, how dare you? How could you ever say that and expect me to ever trust you again? And she's saying, I do love you. If you believe nothing else, please believe that.
Omni's right. Notice he does not look back at her. And JMS explained that if he did, he would not go. He knows what he has to do, and if he looks back, he won't do it.
No spoilers, Josh. And so Londo has parked himself at a pub, and he's been drinking all day. And Veer is like, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And Londo reveals that he's just been given an invitation to serve in the Emperor's court as advisor on planetary defenses, and he's upset because it should have come 20 years earlier.
Joel, he said, what about another episode? And Texas says this has got to be a direct result of dealing with Rifa. And that's very true.
Oh, yeah. And so Londo is saying that his concern here is that they're drawing him in, and eventually he's going to wake up finding himself with his throat slit ear to ear.
So Joel is saying that JMS said this about a different episode. I actually watched the commentary for this episode yesterday, and JMS mentioned it in the commentary.
So whoever that guy was, he just said that he implied that he was a friend of Discount Rod Sterling, and he brings him a message that if he values his life, he will leave and leave immediately.
That sounds ominous.
Very ominous. Like, hey, what sort of attack might be coming? Oh, which was another thing we discussed very recently. They said now that we've shown them that we can hurt them, how long will they let us go?
Yeah, how long will it take for them to come after them?
Yeah, Dr. Franklin's figuring something out. We saw something at the back of the head here, and superimposed, it was something that came like to the nasal cavity, and something up here in the brain, and then in the mouth.
Omni's right. That is their real wedding photo.
Ha! That's fun. Yeah, that's suspicious. So
Isn't it?
Sheridan is saying, so what have you been doing all this time? Wait, you've been on Zahadum? It's like, yeah. What, doing what? Because I can't tell you here, but I'll tell you if you come back to Zahadum with me. And he says, well, what if I don't? She goes, well, then I'll leave, and you'll never know. There's no threats, no coercion. You just come with me and you find out. Because Zahadum is her home now, and if he comes with her, she'll understand, or he'll understand. And he gives her a condition. He says that you have to tell me what happened to you and the crew of the Icarus when you got to Zahadum, and if you tell me, I'll go. And she goes, ooh, you promise? I tell you and you go? And he says, I'll go. Yes, Josh. Yep, I was wrong about how Sheridan ends up on Zahadum. And so she's saying that client or captain said that on Zahadum was the find of a lifetime, but what he didn't tell her is how he got this information.
Now, we've seen this before. This is a recap from a prior episode.
And that was there was a telepath who saw this, right? Or someone came and was like, I don't care if you guys are with the enemy or not. Here's what happened.
Yeah, it was an IPX worker.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, Garibaldi saw it too.
Okay.
At least part of it.
Or he found at least the Psi-Corps badge afterwards, is what Texas was saying. On Mars.
On Mars, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I remember that part of the intro. So she's saying that after the ship left, they went down into the crater left behind by the ship, and that's where they found the shadow.
Well, no, that's on Zahadum.
Okay. They followed the ship.
Put it. Yeah, they put a tracking device on the ship, and it went to Zahadum, and that's when the expedition, the Icarus, went to Zahadum.
And so she's explaining that the reason she wasn't able to do anything is when they came to Zahadum, the ship she was on was destroyed, and they weren't able to reach out to the Earth government because the shadows had just come out of hibernation. It was too dangerous, and in exchange for their silence, the shadows allowed them to study their technology, and it was too big of an opportunity. This could leap Earth technology ahead by 10,000 years.
I find that very interesting. Time doesn't work the same there. How does it work?
Allegedly.
Yeah, and this all might be a big old lie. Who knows?
And she's saying that I came here to take you back so that you could see the truth, that Dolores and Kosh and everyone has been lying to him all this time. And it's time that he knew the truth. And he says, you're right, maybe it is time. And he gives a big smile, but then he glances over nervously at a report from Franklin.
That's it.
Or perhaps a medical tricorder. So Garibaldi comes and he says, I heard about, and Sheridan gives him a bit of a don't go there look, I'd say. And he goes, well, I heard about. Is there anything I can do? He says, not right now. But what you can do is look into her background.
Kind of an odd order.
Yeah. He's going to leave the White Star on autopilot, orbiting the station for a few hours.
Yeah, he's going to have the Minbari on the White Star process, put it in the computer, leave it unmanned.
And so he hands him the medical scan, I'm assuming medical scan, that he took of Anna. And,
no, that's something different. We'll find out what it is.
But he hands it to Garibaldi, and he looks and he goes, "Oh, he questions the validity of his birth," and Sheridan responds, "It is inappropriate to address an officer with that sort of language."
Talk about the weather.
Yeah. So he's saying, when we first came to the station, we didn't trust each other, but we've become close since then. And so I need you to do this for me. And when we see each other next, if everything is set, we'll talk about the weather.
And what's going to happen, we don't hear.
Yeah.
It's all on that little pad.
But he's decking out. And then he sees Kosh in the mirror. If you go to Zahadum, you will die. But we see him in the future. In the future, he went to Zahadum, and he ended up with Dolores. And yeah, I know I'm making a bit of a guess with him going to Zahadum, but I think it tracks. And so that really makes me wonder about whether they're really fully alive. Are they alive the same way? And so they meet with each other, and Garibaldi says, I heard a weather report from Earth. They're having a late winter. And Sheridan shakes his hand and said, take care, Michael.
One of the things JMS keeps talking about in documentaries on the Usenet, that sort of thing, is he'll lay out what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. The interesting part is how you get there.
Yeah.
You don't know how you're going to get to that point.
And so he's taking the White Star. Commandeering, some might say. Taking it out of space dock.
Well, it is his ship.
He's borrowing it, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, he is in charge of the White Star ship at the station. It's his ship, as Omni said.
And Anna is very concerned about this ship. She says it's part Vorlon, and the aliens believe that if anything Vorlon touches them, they will die. Who now is saying that it's Dolores' ship. She's the one who is.
Well, it's a huge a mutual partnership, Hudal. Zahadum.
Matthew takes the car out. Matthew's commandeering it. I mean, a little. I'll bring it back. But so he says, don't worry, we won't land the White Star on the planet. We'll take a shuttle down.
No, that's pretty much all CGI, that shot. Pretty much. Except them walking by. Go Amiga. That's right, Omni.
With them talking so much about if you go to Zahadum, you'll die. And the speculation about my speculation about whether or not she's really truly alive. Like, okay, she's alive. She has a heartbeat. She has body temperature. But I really wonder if who she was died and now she is something else. I wonder about one of the prophecies that was given to Londo. Do not kill the one who is already dead. I wonder if that's going to be one of these Vorlon, or not, excuse me, one of these Shadow Spider agents. It would make sense for that to be, Discount Rod Sterling, because he does the most with him. But this is all based on a huge assumption on my part that they are deadish. Which I don't think we've seen the old guy yet before, but there's Rod Sterling in the back.
We have not seen him.
And yep, he got there. He's alive. Myth busted. Yep.
Well, we haven't seen him on this show.
So Sheridan is asking who he is, and the guy responds with, well, who decides the workday is from 9 to 5 instead of 9 to 4? Who draws up the borders? Who holds the currency? Who handles all the decisions that happen transparently? So he's Illuminati, I guess.
A middle man.
But his name is Justin.
And he's a middle man. Is
Ooh,
that the man in the middle?
Which, if he is the man in the middle, then would Discount Rod Sterling be the opposite hand of his? So he's saying, if when you see this message next, I will be at Zahadum with Anna, and I can only imagine your reaction. Right? I think I can imagine your reaction. And so here she is going over that episode in War Without End Part 2. Ooh. What if I was wrong about what I was assuming? So I was making the assumption that in the original timeline, he did go to Zahadum. And so what he's saying is that... Oh. So I'll get there. So what he's saying is that he's working under the assumption that in the original timeline, he listened to her and did not go to Zahadum. And he thinks that by going to Zahadum, he can achieve his desires, because what he desires is to be with Dolores. Yeah, Texas,
Josh.
either that or he's overthinking things as much as I do.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah, this is important.
So he's talking about there's alien races who. Okay. He's talking about how the other races went off to greener pastures and 2 stayed behind to take care of the younger races. Well, one were the Vorlons and the others were the Shadow Spiders. And the Vorlons, they call the Lords of Order. That they're kind of like your parents. Whereas the Shadows believe that strength comes from conflict. And that by bringing the races continually into conflict over and over again, the ones that survive are stronger, and that's what will really raise them up to their full potential. And that, yes, a few get lost along the way, but that's unfortunate. But you can't let that get in the way of the dream.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, Corwin.
Oh. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good at all. Double red alert. That's right, Omni.
So they're not firing at this point. They're just surrounding Babylon 5. So I kind of wonder if they're waiting for Sheridan's response to dictate the attack or not. And Discount Rod Sterling is saying, yeah, we've had 6,000 years of conflict, but look what came out of that. We never would have gone to the stars if we hadn't been at each other's throats.
He looks a little more menacing in this episode than he has
Yeah.
in the past.
And this is something we talked about, that the Vorlons have interfered with humanity and the other races, that they've implanted themselves into their mythology. And he's saying that the Vorlons have even messed with the human's genetic makeup. It's like, why do you think telepaths came out of nowhere just 100 years ago? And they're saying that the Shadow Spiders have said that the human race can be the first to rebuild, but the only thing that's in their way right now is you, Sheridan. And I'm listening, Omni. I am. This here. And they're trying to get hold of Droll, but I would think Droll would be well aware of what's happening, to be honest. And so they've also mentioned that the Vorlons went against this philosophy of constant conflict. And that they brought Sheridan here in the hopes that he'd work with them instead of against them. Because he thinks he's something important, but he's not. If he dies, they're just going to bring up someone else to be the martyr. And he says, you can work with us, and he goes, or you'll do to me what you did to Anna. He said, the memories are there, the DNA is there, the voice is there, but the personality, the woman I married, she's not there. And he's saying that she would never go along with this, and Justin is saying, you're right. And he's saying 5 years ago when she came here, she made the same choice. She refused to join us. And he goes, you stuck her in one of those ships, didn't you? And meanwhile, he's reaching down and he's getting his boot pistol. And he's saying that once you've been inside one of those ships, you're never quite whole after that. He said, you do what you're told, and so will you. And then he gets out his little zippity zap shooter. And hopefully it works on a shadow spider. And apparently 2 of the devices are missing. 2.
Where'd they go?
And Sheridan looking a little worse for the wear, but mobile.
He's been in a fight.
And so he stumbles out to this balcony. He looks down into, let's say, Tartarus, the abyss. But he's trying to signal, let's say, the White Star. Let's say the White Star.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. I might be about to lose a bet.
A distinct possibility.
The White Star powers up and it says thermal nuclear device activated, something like that. And she's saying that I know this isn't the Anna that you knew, but she can never come back. But I can love you as well as she did, which, fact check false? And he says, finally, I heard what you said when I left, and I want you to know that I love you, Dylan. Goodbye. So, is this about to be it? Are we going to kill off Sheridan after? But he's the one who is to come.
Did he change the future?
He did, and all of a sudden he hears Kosh in his head. It says, "Jump now." And, we got her all in red. And he jumps. And here comes the White Star. Would I consider this severely damaged? Yes. Yes. Oof. And so there's Garibaldi, and he mouths, what the heck? And then they all leave. And Ivanova says he's gone. Which, bearing in mind, she is a little bit of a telepath.
How would she know that, though, from
That's not how the Force
dozens of light years away?
Thomas,
this is great. You need to listen to this. This great speech.
We hear Jakar. He's saying it's the end of the Earth year. Which I didn't hear the year he said, but he said the whole world is holding its breath waiting.
2260.
And then we see the cenotaph for John. Oh, Josh, I heard him say jump now. I thought I mentioned it. And they did mention that time works differently, which may have just been a lie, because it could have been that she was dead and they altered her memories. Ooh. So they're saying that one of the fighters they sent out didn't come back, and it was Garibaldi's. And again, we get a little bit of a Bible quote there. Where Jakar is saying our fight is not against flesh and blood. And Jakar is saying that we don't know where the future is going to take us, but we only know that it's born in pain. So,
wow.
I believe, and thank you, Thomas, for your donation, saying, so now that the White Star is completely destroyed, when is the virtual pub? We will have to plan that. We will have to plan that. I think it's fair to say that it definitely went splody. And I think that the only part of my prediction I got right, Thomas, victory! The only part of my prediction I got right was that we ended on a cliffhanger.
You got another part kinda right? Kinda? Sorta? Maybe in a little way.
Garibaldi?
You said Garibaldi will sacrifice himself. He didn't sacrifice himself, but you said he would be captured and be on a prison ship. Well, I don't know if the Shadow Vessel is a prison ship per se, but he did get captured.
Oh. I misread that scene.
Oh, how did you read it?
I thought this was all part of the captain's plan, and Garibaldi had managed to sneak and attach himself onto the Shadow Spider's ship. Maybe the dialogue made that more clear. It was really hard to hear Jakar. He was speaking very low.
Yeah, he was. No, they had Andreas Casillas do that speech twice, and they did they took the first take on it. He's just so good at those kinds of speeches, and we'll get more of those, a little minor spoiler, in the future. He's really good at that kind of thing. Fantastic.
It's very hard not to try and queue up the next episode.
All right. What happened to Sheridan? Wow. What happened to Mr. Garibaldi?
So,
Omni's ready to go. He's ready.
I bet.
Let's go.
I feel like we just got to see who Morgana Le Fay was with Anna.
Yes. Texas says, Jeff, make sure the version we watch next time has a full episode. We are on that. The Amazon Prime version and a lot of other versions don't have the first scene. So we are on that. I'm going to get the Blu-ray version up for Matthew to show.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely need that. Okay, so
Hoot Owl, that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler.
I won't look. So Jeff, thoughts about this episode?
Wow. Yeah. This is a exposition heavy episode, but it's very well done. Some episodes like this on other series, it's very dry, and you're like, come on, let's get through all this. This was done very cleverly, intermixing a lot of different things with the exposition, and it's done naturally. So not a lot of action in this. It's a lot of talking. But it was very, very, very well done. Very well done. And we get a lot of answers to this, what the series is all about. We get the Shadows side of the story, what they're all about, what they think of the Vorlons, what's been going on the last million years. We heard about the first ones. Most of them left 1 million years ago. 2 stayed behind rather, to shepherd the younger races, and they have opposing viewpoints on how to do that. We find out what the Vorlons have been doing, according to the Shadows anyway, that they've been manipulating the younger races into, and we've kind of seen this, into having a favorable view of the Vorlons. As you mentioned, they put themselves into the mythology, the stories that those races have, and they look favorable upon the Vorlons. They see them as the Vorlons want to see them. So we get that side of it. It's very interesting to hear that, because we haven't seen all of that, but it's all fitting together. We got Sheridan going to Zahadum. He's been told not to go to Zahadum. He'll die. Well, it appears maybe he did die, but we also thought Anna had died. So is he dead? Did he survive? What was that big chasm that he fell into?
Yeah. How does timey-wimey stuff work on this planet?
Right. JMS said, and the Usenet, and also I watched the commentary for this episode that he did, that Kosh told him to jump because he knew that if he didn't jump, he would die right there. This would give Sheridan more time to find maybe some way to survive. If he jumped, he would have more time. And we saw that in Doctor Who, too, where remember the Peter Capaldi episode where he was repeating in that castle, repeating over and over and over. And he jumped out of the tower because he was about to go through the loop again if he didn't jump, and it gave him more time to figure out what to do. Yeah, because he jumped. So yeah, this is and as Texas says, this does mirror the end of season 2, because we saw Sheridan jump out of the tram And in both instances, Kosh was involved. In that one, Kosh exited his encounter suit and went up and caught him as he fell. And this, he tells him to jump. And we get the idea that Kosh is still inside of Sheridan. There's a piece of Kosh in Sheridan.
Mm-hmm. Which is a point they brought up in the episode with the new Kosh.
Sort of. The new Kosh was asking Lita if there was anybody else that may have a piece of Kosh in him. Mm-hmm. And at the time, she didn't know, but she kind of got the idea that maybe there was a piece in Sheridan.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't brought out. It was proven that he does. It's just a suspicion.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
It's getting late.
It is.
But yeah, this was a great episode, and it explains a lot of things. It brings up new questions. And we see it gets not talked about much because it's such a small part of the episode, but we see that Londo gets promoted. What's that mean for his being the ambassador to B5? And where's this going to lead for him? It seems like he's on the path to be emperor. Maybe this is the next step for him to become that. But if you notice, he was very reluctant to accept it. He didn't really want it. So he's been going through the whole series wanting to progress and become more powerful and help the Centauri people. But now that he's getting more power, he decides he doesn't really want it.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
It was interesting. One, he was a bit surly. He's like, this should have happened 20 years ago. And mm-hmm. he felt that the only reason he was getting it now wasn't because of his own merit, but because of his relationship with Rod Sterling. And that bothered him. He didn't like the implications. So was it a forcible promotion, or was it something that he has the potential to turn down?
I think he's forced into it, basically. I mean, I guess he could resign completely from, but any type of government position, but you don't turn that down. And they're trying to keep him close.
Yeah.
Keep your enemies closer type of thing. I think they're viewing him kind of that way. Welcome, John. And as Texas just said, it's them keeping their enemies close. Exactly. So I've been told before the stream started that I need to remind you that the White Star is destroyed.
It is.
It happened before season 5, and boy, it doesn't look like it could be repaired or upgraded.
Even if it was, I still lost the bet because I said it had to be in season 5.
So I guess you need to. I gotta figure out when to
do a virtual pub. Yeah.
Right. Now there was a question earlier on in the chat about all the ships that were orbiting around Babylon 5 at the beginning of the episode. Where did they go? JMS said that they were off being repaired after the battle we saw in the prior episode. That's why they weren't there. Another reason that Drawl did not come to the aid of B5 is because the shadow ships appeared so close to Babylon 5. They shimmered into reality, our reality anyway, so close to the station that if he did try to attack the shadow vessels, he would also get Babylon 5 in the process. Yeah. So he was kind of stuck. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I mentioned it when they brought it up that they couldn't reach him. Just that I think he knows.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he knew what was going on in orbit around the planet.
So my goodness, we start off the episode with Anna's reveal. We quickly go to to Londo, getting his promotion.
Right. And told to get off the station for his
and
own
told
good.
get off the, yeah. And then we're shown about the implants she had. And
at the back of the neck.
I guess the scene where Franklin puts it together is he sees that she has a scar at the back of the neck, and he doesn't see the implants on her scan, but he connects it with the implants that we saw on the other telepaths who were being tried to merge with the ship.
Right, exactly.
And so he's like, oh, I see what happened here. And so this was
apparently they took out all the implants from Anna after they took her out of the shadow vessel that she was in. That's my guess. But she still had the scar back here.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and then kind of
Joel, she had the implants. Joel is saying it's not the implant, it's the scar. Yeah, he noticed that the scar lined up with the opening that they used for the implants in the telepaths that they were going to merge with the shadow vessels. Mm-hmm. My thought is that she actually did have the implants at one time. Yeah, they took them out after they took her out of the shadow vessel.
Yeah. One of the big reveals they did in this conversation, which massively important conversation that happened with Justin, is that at the very least, Anna did functionally die. This kind of goes back to our conversation with the mind wipe, where they don't execute people anymore. They do the mind wipe, and then they give them a new personality. Mm-hmm. And they say, well, this person through the mind wipe has functionally died, and this is a brand new person. And they kind of lean into that. The same thing happens when you merge with the ship. Who you were is lost. But they do point out that Sheridan was right. Anna would never agree to this. And she did not agree to go with Justin. That she didn't agree with the mentality that it's okay to intentionally cause conflict and wipe out races, because eventually you are left with the creme de la creme, as it were.
Right.
What else was revealed in that conversation? The difference in mentality. You had the thank you, Dr. Crusher. She says, look, I try my best to cover the scars. I do miss working for the Shadow Spiders. They were very forgiving when I lost patience. Thank you, Dr. Crusher. So
I think somebody's having fun with you.
Oh, Dr. Crusher is.
Dr. Crusher. Yeah, Dr. Crusher. Sure. Okay.
Well, how do you think she got the last name Crusher? She crushed her patience.
Oh, okay. I thought she got it through marriage, but okay.
Cover story.
Cover story.
Yeah. She just didn't want Wes to know the truth, and you know, everyone went along with her.
Okay. I'll let you believe that.
Okay, but we see the mentality of the different races. You had all the first ones. So the Vorlons were part of the first ones. Mm-hmm. It seems like. And while all the other first ones, they collectively seems to have reached a point in their evolution where they all go to greener pastures, they say. They leave our side of the universe and they move on.
Right.
Except for the Vorlons and the Shadow Spiders. That they stay behind to shepherd the younger races.
Now, of course, the shadows don't go by the word shadows.
Yeah. And
their species name is like 10,000 characters long and is unpronounceable.
I was about to make that point that Ivanova claims to have found some, the Zog. And they were also treated as the first ones.
Well, that was the response that they gave to Ivanova when she asked them to join in on the battle against the Shadows. Zog, which meant no, essentially.
But so that's kind of a. I'm assuming at some point we'll get some more clarification on this. But there's kind of a discrepancy happening here, where the Zog are described as the first ones, but here we're told that all the first ones, except for the Vorlons and the Shadows, went to a different universe, a different galaxy, different part of the galaxy, something. So I'm curious how those two things could be true.
Well, I look at it this way: the Shadows are not. They don't know everything, and Justin could have been lying too.
He could have been. That's definitely a high possibility. It's also a possibility that the Zog are not technically first ones. Maybe they're older than the Inbari are and younger than the Vorlons. I don't know. Maybe not all the first ones truly left. Maybe when it says that they left our part of or corner of the galaxy, we're talking about going to a different plane of reality. And when they summoned the Zog back, as it were, it's not that we're having two different conflicting things, but that they've ascended, and so they don't deal with mundane issues anymore happening in the galaxy. Yeah, it could be half-truths. It could be a bit of a retcon. I don't know. I said mundane. Is that a big deal?
I don't know. I don't know the reference, Omni. What are you referring to? It's interesting about Justin. He called himself the middleman.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, especially in the Usenets, and also in the commentary I watched for this episode, JMS said he is the man in between.
Okay.
Now, in other instances, JMS contradicted himself and said that he's not the man in between. So, what is the truth?
We'll have to find out as we get further. I wonder if this is a retcon issue, or if this is something where he both is and is not.
No, that's an interesting thought.
Where, and this is something you see in the Bible, where you see that prophecies were fulfilled, and yet they were at the same time fulfilled in such a way that it points you toward a greater fulfillment later in history. So yes, the prophecy is fulfilled, but hey, keep looking, because there's an aspect still coming. So maybe he is the man in the middle, but he's the man in the middle, and you're supposed to look beyond that to see that there's someone else who more fully embodies that. And yeah, Omni's saying, are Justin and Mordorin both middlemen? I mean, I got the feeling that Justin ranked above him, but at the same time,
he did.
I'd still describe him as I describe Mordorin as a middleman sort of guy. But here's the thing I'm curious about is I was over here just speculating. Maybe Mordorin is the one who you do not kill the one who's already dead. Oh, maybe that's Mordorin, and then he dies. I mean, it seems like he died in this episode. A nuclear bomb went off in his face.
Oh. But he wasn't there. We don't know where he was exactly when
was he not in the background of that
nukes
scene?
Went off. He wasn't.
Okay. I guess
Joel says he didn't see a body. We definitely saw Anna. We saw at least two shadows.
Okay. I'll have to look at the scene again. I thought Anna came out with Justin, but I guess they could have been elsewhere.
They definitely could have been elsewhere. Anna is toast, right? Yes, I would say
so,
she's
yeah.
toast. She was right there. She was screaming as the White Star came screaming down into the city and blowing up.
Yeah,
she was not wearing sunscreen.
Should have worn that sunscreen. So it is interesting also when it was talking about how the Vorlons and the Shadow Spiders were left behind to be shepherds for the younger races. I'm really going to have to pay more attention and rewatching it, but I get almost the idea that either as they sat there overseeing these races, that over time a schism occurred between them. And I couldn't tell if the schism was something where initially the Vorlons were on board with chaos, or if from the get-go you just had two opposing theories and everyone's like, hey, why don't y'all two stay behind and y'all duke it out and you figure out which way is the best way.
I got the impression that they had differing opinions of how to proceed with the younger races from the get-go.
And if that's the case, maybe it was less that the other first ones left and said, y'all stay behind to shepherd the younger races, and more is like the first ones, most of the races said it's time for us to go, and it seems like the Vorlons and the Shadow Spiders specifically said, yeah, that's great, but we think we should stay. So maybe it's less that they were appointed to stay behind and more of they felt that the younger races need to be shepherded, and they had differing ideas on how to do that. Yeah, like the caretakers.
I missed a comment from Texas back a little bit further back. He says, according to JMS, after wrapping this episode, Bruce Boxleitner wanted to place an historical marker that reads, on this spot, a man won an argument with his wife. He quite likes filming that scene because he could have an argument with his real wife and it didn't affect their real life.
Ah. Shouldn't I remember the Shadow and Vorlon's questions they keep asking everyone? Now I remember the Shadows always ask, what do you want? The Vorlons, they ask, who are you?
Who are you? Ah, yes, Joel, they did divorce eventually.
Which, I mean, I guess that does kind of nicely reflect their personality differences. So the Shadows like to foment chaos, and so they get everyone to focus on what do you want? What will make you happy? And pursue that at the cost of everything else. Whereas the Vorlons are more about recognizing who you are so that in that recognition, you can push yourself beyond where you are right now and attain the next level of development.
So in the commentary, JMS said that the Vorlons know who they are, but they don't know what they want. The Shadows know what they want, but they don't know who they are.
So they just need to get together.
Right?
I feel like there's one other really big lore drop.
Garibaldi?
Still in the conversation. I mean, yeah, you find out Anna's dead. Dead and not dead. Which
Omni says telepaths? That's a big part of it.
That is. Which it would be interesting because that would imply that the Vorlons were well aware of the fact that the Shadow Spiders could be defeated by telepaths.
Not only that, but they were manipulating the other races to develop telepaths. And that leads to the question, 1,000 years ago, did they develop telepaths with the Narn and the Minbari?
So I was wondering about that, and I got the feeling that maybe the Narn were natural telepaths. And And that is how the Vorlons learned about the weakness of the shadow spiders.
Omni, did Justin say that they controlled the Psychor? I don't know if he said that. I know that they were in league with the Psychor. Which is interesting because we see Mr. Bester wanting to fight the shadows, especially since they did that to his beloved.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to put her into a shadow vessel. Yeah, that's right. Omni, you're right. Mr. Buster is not top of the core.
That they infiltrated the Psychor? Sounds right.
Definitely in league with him.
Yeah.
Because the Psychor gave them telepaths.
Mm. And of course, I'm assuming that Justin is telling the truth about anything.
Yeah. Do we know for sure? You're right. Is he telling the truth? Is he telling half truths? Is it all a lie?
I could especially see him trying to spread seeds of doubt, and because it is true that the Vorlons have inserted themselves into many races' mythology, and it's still interesting to me that Londo claims not to have seen anything.
That's true too.
And it's always one of those things where I wonder if he was already under the influence of the shadow, such that they prevented him from seeing the mythology that they had baked into the Centauri people, or if the Centauri are individuals who have been marked out by the shadows long before, and so the Vorlons weren't able to insert themselves into Centauri mythology.
If that was the case, though, I wouldn't think Morden would have had to go to all the ambassadors and speak with them. He would have gone right to Londo.
That's true.
I would really have liked to know what Veer would have seen if he had seen Kosh outside of his encounter suit. That would have been interesting. And you would have had a contrasting viewpoints of the two.
I don't remember if we heard the viewpoint from any Centauri.
I don't think we did.
I feel like that was intentional. And to be fair, yeah, Londo saw nothing. I don't know if he's telling the truth either. In that moment, I got the feeling that he was being an unreliable narrator himself.
He did look up, and he had a confused look on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. I will back up what Positive Candor said. He said he recommends to Matthew to check out Lurker's Guide to Babylon 5 once you're finished watching the series. Excellent resource. Yeah. That's where I get a lot of my information is Lurker's Guide. There's also a Babylon 5 wiki, but you don't get as much information on that as you do on Lurker's Guide.
Yeah, 10, 15, 25 years, something like that, guys.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
And then we saw the episode end with them kidnapping Garibaldi.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. What do they want with him?
Yeah. We'll have to find out on next week. I'm hoping we find out next week. It might be a while.
It could be.
So let's see here. Next week, let me get my episode list pulled up.
Thomas asks, kidnapping or did he stow away? I don't know. If you watch the scene, Garibaldi's kind of looking up and goes, what the, and you see this shadow go over his ship.
Mm-hmm.
So something's going on with him. I don't think he would have said that if he was trying to stow away.
Thomas, by me saying it could be a while, I mean in the show. I plan on streaming next week. Don't worry. I'm just saying, like, I don't know for certain that we will get resolution with Garibaldi next episode.
Sometimes these things play out over several episodes, like the Walkabout.
Yeah. So my brain is fried, and the next episode is called The Hour of the Wolf.
Yes.
Not the hour of scampering.
No.
The Hour of the Wolf.
That doesn't give you very much, I don't think.
It really doesn't.
No, not Airwolf, Omni. I don't think we're going to see Airwolf.
Yeah, Ivanova is Commander B5. Women rule the planet. God creates dinosaur. God kills dinosaur. God creates man. Man creates dinosaur. Dinosaur kills man. Women rule the
John
rule
says.
the earth.
John says the wolf will come down from the north.
It could.
A positive Candor says sounds like Game of Thrones.
Okay, so I got nothing off that title, but let's talk narratively what needs to be going on. So,
okay.
Narratively, we're going to have, I think, a time skip, because that's kind of what we see in each season. It's not a huge time skip, but it seems like it seems like JMS is trying to say, hey, you're watching this in real time, week by week. Each episode is about 7 days between episodes. Each time we pick up, we're a couple months, as if you were off for the summer too. And yeah, each season is 1 year. So I think we're going to pick up it being with a little bit of a skip as we pick up the pieces from what happened this episode. Ivanova is quite confident that Sheridan is gone. And I think that what we're going to see, the reason for that is that time operates strangely on Zahadum. I don't think that it's just that Anna was absorbed in the ship and dead, and so she has a gap in her memories. I do think that we're going to find that time is a little uncertain there, and specifically when he jumped into that Sarlacc pit, I think that will have caused him to become displaced in time. And the question is, will he come back next episode? Because it would be fun if we had a couple episodes without him, I think. And they were coming to accept him not being there, and something happened, and they figured out we need to stabilize him. The same way that Zathras did in the War Without End, they need to do again. They're going to have to figure out where he's jumping to and fix him to their plane of reference. So let's say that we're not going to get him back next episode. Gosh, I'm not sure where else to go with this. We're going to have a time skip. We're going to have to see how they're dealing with things. Ivanova is going to be in charge of B5. I think Jakar will have stepped up to be helpful during this period. We'll see that Zach is running the security department in Garibaldi's absence. Londo, we're going to say that Londo's missing. Not missing per se, but he's not on station. That he took the advice and went back to the homeworld before all this went down, and we're going to see that he's not back, and there's going to be some question about, is he coming back? Are we going to get a replacement for him? Let's see, who else do we have? Dolores. I think Dolores will be the only one who believes he's not dead. That while everyone else is dealing with his death and, you know, trying to process it, she's going to be the one that's like, no, he's still alive, and tries to get him back. And in fact, it would be fun if at first she was even believing he was dead. It was only with the oh gosh, I just blanked on his name. The guy on the planet, Drawl. Maybe Drawl has to intervene and be like, no, he's not dead. Here's what we need to rescue him. So that's what I got. That's what we're gonna have to do, and that's kind of what each first episode of a new season does. It addresses the fact that there's been a time skip, and it helps you see where everyone is after that skip, and it sets the tone for the coming season. So I look forward to finding out what that's going to be. And yeah, he was.
We'll find out together.
Yeah, Londo was kind of ordered back home. He didn't seem to be in a super rush, but
he wasn't told to go home. He just was told to leave the station for his own good.
I think he means with the order. That even before the associate came, he had the order telling him to come be the advisor to the king.
The Emperor.
Emperor, yes. So there's some question there. Does it mean he has to be physically present? Would it all be long distance communication?
Thomas says maybe Drawl can fix the severely damaged White Star.
Maybe the Techno Mages will show up and fix it. I don't know at this point. My prediction's gone on that.
Maybe they don't need to. I mean, they have a White Star fleet now.
They do. They do.
You saw all those ships that they have a few episodes back.
Well, I mean, they're in repair right now, but yeah.
Well, some of them are, yeah. They didn't. I don't think they took all of them into that battle.
Well, guys, this was an amazing top tier episode. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I think I'm going to go to bed and rewatch this hopefully tomorrow at some point.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And pay attention to Jakar's little speech at the end. It's very well done. The language used is just great, and just the way he reads it is just awesome.
Will do. All right. Take care, everyone.
Have a good week, all. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will. And be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.